Hello, everybody. Hey, guys, can you guys hear me? Guys at the back? Perfect. So, today we're going to discuss about the wheels of the wonder. We're going to discuss about the car hacking techniques. They're going to be, I mean, we're going to discuss some of the hands on techniques with regards to car hacking. Some might require physical access, some might not require physical access. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hrishikesh Somchatwar. I am from India. And so, my name is Hrishikesh Somchatwar. I'm formerly known as the storytelling hacker on Twitter. And I'm a master student at Eurecom. It's a great university in Sophia, Antipolis. Just a fun fact, we have written the 3GPP specifications in our university. So, you guys can check that out. So, I'm the best-selling author on Amazon. I have a book. I'm a book of the author called as Hacking the Physical World. It has been like I have got an amazing response from people all over the country with regards to this book. It's a light read. It's not a very, very technical book. It's just a light read. And I've been a speaker at various security conferences all around the globe. One of them is B-Sides Delhi, Cocoon, B-Sides Ahmedabad, Hackfest Canada. I had a car hacking village back in DefCamp Romania in 2019. But I couldn't attend due to some reasons. So this is my first DefCamp. I also have a podcast which is named as the Storytelling Hacker, which is available on Amazon, Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast, and Spotify as well. So let us start. So we're gonna discuss about car hacking today, and we're gonna discuss it on a very not on a very in-depth level, but we're gonna make sure that each and every single one of you have some sort of idea about what is the thing which is going to get discussed in terms of car hacking. So, what is the agenda? We're gonna say structure of a car. I'm gonna tell you guys about on a very high level that what is the structure of a car. Then there is the attack surface. Then we're going to discuss the hacking or the abuse techniques, and then we're going to conclude something. I mean, like, hopefully. Honestly, in security, you cannot really conclude that just because this particular thing is vulnerable, then it can be hacked. And then once you patch that, and you can't literally claim that this is still secure, because we all are security guys, and you know what I'm trying to say. So, let us discuss the structure of a car. What does a car actually include? Cars are basically computers. These are computers on wheels. That's it. So, the car consists of electronic hardware, the mechanics, the engine, and the actual mechanical stuff and everything. Then there's radio communication. And then there's sensors. So, we're going to be, here's the structure of the car. You guys can see it. So there are multiple things involved in the car, which sometimes the infotainment systems, the LiDAR, sonar, there are multiple things. There are sensors, the TPMS, the tire pressure monitoring system, the key fob, the radio thing and everything. But there's one problem while doing a pen test of vehicles, that the telematics control unit is often ignored. I'm not claiming that on a very high level that everybody ignores it. But what I'm trying to say is, we generally tend to ignore the telematics control unit because, I mean, we feel that if we are not touching it, if we don't have the physical access to it, then what is the point of making it and working hard towards it to make it secure? So that's what leads to car hacking. So we will be mostly focusing on the telematics control unit attacks onto this talk. And this is our target. I'm not going to disclose the company name, but you guys are free to understand and do a lot of things with it, know about the thing. So here are the interfaces which we found that which are actually supported into this telematics control unit. There's a telecom. There's GPS, there's hardware, of course there's hardware, and then there's a radio. So when we are talking about, let's first discuss about the telematics, the telecom part of it, because I mean, let's do some things wirelessly before we can actually actually touch it. So here's the telecom part. So that's the TCU. Pardon me for the bad graphics or everything. But you guys can see that the TCU is actually communicating with the BTS on a standard network, and it is communicating through the BTS to the cell phone towers to over the cloud. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a fake base station. Once we create that fake base station, then we're going to manipulate that particular telematics control unit to connect to our own fake BDS. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the fake BDS, and this is how it looked like. So we created our own fake BDS, we created our own fake cell phone towers, and we tricked into some of the cell phones as well. I mean, like, just in order to test it, we sort of tricked the cell phones to connect to our own fake BDS network. So you guys can see the second one is the test PLMN 00101. That's the test network which we created, and we created a fake cell phone tower. And once we are able to do that, you guys can see that since I've created a fake BDS and my iPhone was actually connected to this fake BDS, then I can literally do multiple calls. I can call to you. I can make a phone call to you from any number and have a lot of fun with it. And trust me, guys, this is very fun. So trick the iPhone to connect to that tower. We sort of tricked our cell phones to connect to that tower. Then we started sending fake signals, fake calls and texts and things like that, and had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, this can be also one of the attacks out there, because since you are creating your own fake BTS, that means that you can sort of ask somebody for a bank details, or you can just play around with somebody and create some weird stuff and do some weird stuff with the people out there. So we create a number of fake towers, and that's it. So once we observe that we have number of devices which are actually connected to our BTS, we can see that we are able to see the IMSI, the IMEI, the TIMSIS, with the TIMSIS command and everything. And this is all happening over OpenBTS. So once we were able to do that, once we were able to connect our telematics control unit to our own network, we will be able to see that there is interface, and we can sort of sniff into those interfaces, and we can find out that there are some juicy information on Wireshark. And these are not the whole screenshots out there. This is just some part of the screenshots of the POC. So you guys can see that this is the Wireshark analysis. You can check for the interfaces out there. And so you can, for me, this is kind of juicy. This is because when TCU is actually taking for an update or doing a FOTA, the firmware over the air update, at that time you can literally sniff into that link, do a wget, and then you can get the firmware of that particular device. I mean, look, guys, we are not even touching the device into this context, in this context of the telematics part of the telecom. So now, everyone's favorite, the hardware part. But before we open up the hardware, we need to make sure that is there any tampering involved? Because if there is tampering, then you can literally open up the device. If there is a tampering protection, that means if you try to touch or open up the device, then it might burn up the entire firmware and you will be left with nothing. So we sort of did an X-ray scans of these devices, and I'm not going to tell you that how crazy it was back in India to have do some sort of social engineering with the people out there and try to get the X-ray scans. That's really pain in the anyways. So I have not included the X-ray scans, but they will be there up on the slides. So we finally open up the device, and we found out that there is no tampering device protection. And once that happened, we immediately open up the device. So you guys can see that this is the device. Looks beautiful, right? So here these are the communication protocols, which we can see that there's a telecom chip involved. There is a UART connector. There are a couple of UARTs. One of them is the SPI chip. I've masked the actual vendor name. And there's UART, which I can say. There's SPI chip, and there's the SoC. Now, where's the SoC? When you turn around the board, you'll be able to see the SoC. So this is the antenna. This is the baseband chip, and this is the SoC. Now we observe something very strange. Instead of using an eSIM, this vendor was using a plastic SIM. So since he is using a plastic SIM, what do? We remove the plastic SIM and we replace it with our own SIM. And there you go. And that's how you do the fake BDS and the MITM stuff with it. So we did some hardware things, and when we were actually trying to do some UART, JTAG, and things like that, we were able to find that we found out the pinouts with using a JTagulator. This is a very good tool by Joe Grant, and we were also able to find the route over UART, and it wasn't that difficult. We were kind of lucky in that sense. And get a beer. If you have a root, then you're actually inside the device and you can do anything which you want to. So this is the output of the UART pass-through which we performed and with the JTagulator. And we observed that there is also a custom baud rate involved. So, even if there's a custom baud rate, we tried to using multiple baud rates, and then we still sort of figured out that there is what sort of baud rate which is actually used in this. So we did a UART pass-through and a pinout scan, which I already discussed about. So the GPS side. So now we're going to discuss about the GPS side of the TCU. So we were able to spoof into the GPS signals of the telematics control unit. This means if I have the details of your car, I can literally tell that your car isn't at Romania, it's somewhere around in Antarctica or something. I can literally do that using the GPS spoofing techniques. So we also did some GPS jamming as well. We used SDR for that, everyone's favorite hack RF, and we were able to do that as well. And there's a setup. Well, the reason why I have kept the telematics control unit into that window, it is because you need to have internet connectivity in order to, which actually makes the telematics control unit connect to the GPS. And that's how you're going to get the coordinates out there. So the TTL data on UART, custom baud rate here as well, and the JTagulator. So this is the reference for the GPS out there. If you want to try, you can try, but of course, make sure that you use a Faraday's cage or something like that, because this is just for experimentation. And you do the jamming part, you do the spoofing part, and you do some sort of simulations. If you want to, you can literally create your own thing by doing that. And that's it. That sums up the actual presentation, I would say. We have sort of talked about the radio side, the GPS side, and the hardware side. So the telematics plays a major important role into the world of car hacking. The companies should be, they should be focusing more on the telematics control unit attacks as well, because that is some sort of an issue. Even in the previous talks, Yashin sir also discussed the same thing. And mitigation and security should be given a thought on this. This is one of the most important factors. And one must know the security of these flaws. And if we are considering security into picture, then it's much better way. It gets tougher for the attackers to hack into these systems. So that's what I can say. And that's it from me, guys. We have a question.
Thanks so much. Okay, time for questions. Let's go at the back first, and then we'll come back to you at the front.
Hi, I'm Radu. Thank you for your presentation. I just wanted to know why would my phone connect to your fake tower and not to the original tower of the provider?
Okay, so this question is more associated to the telecom side. Well, if you want, you can sort of make your phone to connect with the tower which you have actually created on your own. That can be done. The easiest method I would say is to reboot your phone. But since you are attacking a specific device for that, so I would rather say increase the range or maybe try to reboot the phone. So because that is the easiest way to make your phone, to make anybody's phone connect to your own BTS, fake BTS.
Okay, thank you. Where was the other question? Keep your hand up. Okay, here at the front, coming to you.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. My question is, did you contact the company that made the device and did
Yeah,
they?
yeah, we did try to communicating with them, but it's just that they were not. I mean, uh, they did not know the risk. That's what I would say. They felt that it's not that like they were not aware about the threats or the worst possible condition that might happen. But they were very. I would say they were very slow in terms of responding to us. So yeah, we did try to
And
connecting.
one more thing, did you have any problems with the authorities when making a fake BTS? Did you have any problems with the authority when making a fake BTS?
Yes, we did had some problems. I mean, like we had to sort of. I would rather suggest everyone to use a Faraday's cage to do this because this is all experimentation, and I will never support anyone to do telecom level things on just for experimentation without taking the permissions. So make sure that you guys take the permissions and use a Faraday's cage before doing this.
Cool. One more question over. Oh, let's go back there. Let's go back there.
Hello, thank you very much for the nice presentation. I'm Theo. I have a question. In your career of a ethical hacker, did you have any bad feedback from the companies that were affected by the vulnerabilities you discovered? Like they sued you, I don't know, something like that?
Could you please repeat? I'm not able to hear you.
Did you had any bad feedback or the companies that were affected by the vulnerabilities you discovered, they have you, I don't know, threaten you with a lawsuit or something like that because you discovered something and they were coming bad at you, like they were not great with your discoveries. They didn't like that you discovered those vulnerabilities in their systems or their devices.
Well, that's a very subjective question. I'm not sure if I'm going to give a binary answer to this, but I mean, yes, I mean, see, since we are here in a security gathering, maybe that is the reason why we are very normalized when it comes to hacking and things like that. But when you actually discuss these things with the people who are not so technical or who are not in the security field for that matter, I would say that's a problem while discussing these things with these people. So you need to be a bit, I would say, you need to know what you are actually speaking in front of them and make sure that you're not so technical, because what I have learned so far from my mentors that you need to make sure that the other person actually understands what you're trying to say. You can act smart in front of them, but I mean, if you are actually not giving anything in return to that person, or you're actually not giving the information to that person, then that is quite different. I mean, like, you can act smart as a hacker in front of the other vendors, but that can lead to problems. So you should know how to speak. That's all I can say while communicating with the vendors out there.